Listen, if somebody is telling you that being an owner-operator is always better than being a company driver, they either lying or they're trying to sell you something. Everybody online want to tell you to quit your job, buy a truck, and become an owner-operator. Yeah, that's until the truck note hits, the transmission blow out, and it's raining for like a week. Now you sitting at the house with your bills piling up and your truck sitting in the shop. Before you quit your job to buy a truck, slow down and let's have a conversation. Should you be an owner-operator or a company driver? The truth is, neither one is automatically better. It depends on you. Let's start with you being an owner-operator. The biggest advantage is obvious, well, to me. You own the business. That means you have more control over your schedule, opportunities, and your income. When things are good, you do have the potential to make significantly more money than a company driver. You can build relationships with customers, add trucks, hire drivers. And let's be real, it's something so satisfying about building a business that's yours. Let's talk about the downside though. As an owner-operator, every problem belongs to you. The truck breaks down. Your problem. Insurance goes up, your problem. Work slows down, your problem. The driver tear your equipment up, damages your equipment, your problem. And the biggest part that I think a lot of people fail to mention is owning a truck does not automatically make you a business owner. Let me explain. A lot of these owner operators just a dude from around the way with a truck. That's it. They might know how to drive and haul material, but they do not understand business. They don't understand the P&L, the profit and loss statement, cash flow, customer acquisition, scaling, and then they're confused when the truck is making money, but they're not. And that's actually why some owner operators make less money than company drivers. I know I just probably offended somebody, but stay with me. Revenue and income are not the same thing. I've seen owner operators gross impressive numbers and they still struggling financially because they do not understand their expenses. The truck note, fuel, insurance, maintenance, repairs, tires, permits, taxes, etc. all come out before you pay yourself. Meanwhile, you got some company drivers that's going home every week with a consistent paycheck, benefits, and a hell of a lot less stress. That's why I always tell people to stop focusing on revenue and start focusing on profit. And if you don't know your numbers, you can own a truck, have a business, and still be broke. Actually, that's one of the reasons that I created the Haul Your Way to Success series, because I made mistakes that cost me time, y'all, money, and so much frustration. If you're thinking about getting into trucking and eventually becoming an owner-operator, I documented a lot of these lessons in my book. I have the ebook version as well, the workbook and the blueprint at JackieIJ.com. Anyway, driving a truck and running a business are two completely different skill sets. The people who succeed long-term usually learn both. Now, let's talk about being a company driver. The biggest advantage, I think, with being a company driver is stability. You don't have to worry about truck payments, if the truck breaks down, anything. Depending on how big the company is, you just show up, do your job, get paid, go home. And for a lot of people, that's just a really good deal. Especially if you're making good money and you have benefits. Another advantage is that you get to learn the industry on somebody else's dime. And I know that sounds harsh, but it's true. When I started my dump truck company, I spent almost a year driving a mixer truck for a worldwide cement company. Not because I couldn't start the business, but because the driving experience lowered my insurance rate. Talk about being strategic. Sometimes the fastest way forward is slowing down long enough to learn the game. You can build relationships, learn different markets and how the jobs operate. And if you do decide to become an owner-operator later, you'll have valuable experience. Now let's talk about the downside. Your income usually has a ceiling. Your opportunities, they're going to be tied to somebody else's business, so you have less control. And let's say that management makes a bad decision. You might have to actually live with those consequences of that. So which do you choose? Choose the one that fits your current season of life. If you're trying to learn, build experience, and create stability, a company position might be exactly what you need. Now, if you have the capital, experience, strong relationships, and a solid understanding of business ownership, then running a business might actually be the one you need. But please stop letting social media tell you that everybody should immediately become an owner-operator. That's just not true. There's nothing wrong with being a company driver at all. And there's nothing wrong with wanting a business. So before you ask yourself if you can even afford the truck, it's some more important information you should ask. Do I have the knowledge, discipline, and financial resources to survive a breakdown? Because eventually the breakdown is coming. Okay? And I know I keep mentioning that. And your answer to that question will tell you whether or not you're ready for ownership. If you're interested in the trucking business and ownership, check out JackieAjay.com and let me know in the comments, are you a company driver or an owner operator?